How do I do YouTube again? Guys, link in the description. Limited time until February 28th, which is my 2-year anniversary on YouTube. 15% off any purchases from my store. All info link down below. I love my meme queen pillow. It's so nice. I also love this one, which you can probably see from over here, which was both of these actually were made by my artist friends. If you guys pay for anything of this design, that design, or another design, they get a commission as well. So please support my friends. Otherwise, we can't be friends. So, all right. So, when I was a little girl, I remember watching Pocahontas. I remember seeing Pocahontas, and she was just basically this gorgeous Native American dark-skinned woman, not girl like Ariel or Aurora. Anyway, I saw Pocahontas and she was gorgeous, and I gravitated towards her character and towards her free spirit, and she also happened to be Native American. And she fell in love with a white, attractive guy, John Smith, in the story. We're not going to get historical here. We're just following Disney. It was beautiful. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with interracial relationships, interracial love, interracial couples, interracial romance. I fell in love with that. And as a kid in elementary school, you know, I had unknowingly a preference for white guys at the time, white boys. I thought it was normal to an extent until, of course, I would mention it to my extended family and relatives. Not my actual family, my mom, dad, and brother. They understand this, but when I would mention it to my extended family, they took it a different way. I'm just gonna break the news for you real quick. Black people are racist. I can say this. More breaking news is black people are racist to white people. So if you didn't know that, you're welcome. The third breaking news, which will really break some people, is black people can be the most racist people you ever meet in your life. And I'm not kidding. So when I would mention that I had a preference for white guys, I would hear things like, oh, well, you'll learn to love your black brothers.
What?
I have a black brother. Yeah, it's called incest. We are not here for any incest, thank you very much. So that was weird. Another phrase I would hear a lot is that, well, I grew up in a predominantly white church, Christian. I grew up in a predominantly white town. That part's not really true. And I grew up just in a predominantly white school, which was true. You know, obviously I was just brainwashed.
Obviously.
It wasn't of my own choice. It was more of influence. It was more that I just was surrounded by so much white culture and white people that I was just brainwashed. That was it. I was just brainwashed. I was friggin' Bucky Barnes, the black Bucky Barnes. Anyway, the other excuse I would hear is, well, you know, I'll like them basically until I actually face racism. Because if you didn't know, I live in suburbia, New Jersey. I live in a somewhat multicultural, chill town. In this town, I would say that it's not very dangerous to live here, and there's not really a lot of crime or anything like that. So obviously, I've not faced really harsh police brutality or anything like that. So obviously, you know, I don't really know the trueness of white people because I haven't faced racism from them, because where I live doesn't really have that. But then that makes you think that that's more of an economic issue, you know, money issue than a race issue.
Wait a minute.
The other excuse I would hear is, well, I'm light-skinned, so I wouldn't actually understand the racial issues that come with white and black people, because I'm basically Zendaya's twin. You know, obviously because of that, you know, I just wouldn't understand the struggle that, you know, white people are nicer to me, obviously, than other black people, because I'm light-skinned. But then they also said that white people wouldn't like me depending on where I live. And then also, if I'm black but not black, but light-skinned but not, and black and I've heard various other excuses for my preference for light-skinned guys at this point. It's not necessarily white people, because if you've seen Jesse Williams from Detroit Become Human, you would melt on this floor. I love Jason Momoa from Aquaman. So it's more of just, I guess, a light-skin thing. I don't know. I still do have a, I guess, stronger preference for white people. Call me a racist. Call me a sellout, and Uncle Tom a race baiter.
Get out. Sorry, man.
Okay.
Get out!
A traitor really is what I am to most of my family, extended family, relatives, cousins, what have you, is I'm just a traitor because I'm surrounded by white people. I've been brainwashed by white people. I talk white. I guess I dress white. I wouldn't be surprised if someone said that. I have a haircut like a Nazi, I was told recently, which was supposed to not come off as offensive somehow.
Nice.
So that's fun. Black people are great. Give it up for the black people. I say all this to say that as a black person, I have a preference for interracial relationships. I would rather be in an interracial relationship. I would rather adopt multicultural children and just have a whole family where everybody's some different race and we're just loving each other. But according to my relatives, that comes off as I'm brainwashed by white people. I am now Bucky Barnes the Winter Soldier and I have no free will of my own. So I'm just gonna make the record straight. I'm not brainwashed. I'm not a sellout, and I'm not trying to kiss the ass of white people. I see people as individuals, not by their race, as Martin Luther King said it should be. And for some reason, that still is somehow racist, all because I don't necessarily have a preference for my black brethren from freaking Wakanda. I never understood how wanting to be in an interracial relationship or looking at interracial love or interracial couples or anything like that is somehow racist. You're choosing to be with someone who doesn't look like you, who's not the same race as you, same culture as you. You're choosing that and you don't care. Like, you invite the diversity. Like, that's the best example of actual diverse love. I haven't really faced racism from white people. That much is definitely true from my family because I faced more racism from black people. But this is what happens in black communities a lot of times, is that, you know, my family being afraid that I was brainwashed by white people, when really you have black people who brainwash their own communities and their children and their children's children over the history of someone else's ancestors' despicable actions. And it's stupid to me. And maybe I'm ideal, maybe I'm naive, I really don't give a damn. But I think it's absolutely stupid to me, or I guess ironic, the fact that black people literally will say, like, you know, if you're friends with a white kid or something like Timmy, you know, to be careful, or he might treat you differently, or he probably has a one-up on you, or just something stupid, some stupid white privilege garbage that I'm not getting into today. Growing up in the black community, quote unquote, and I say that because the amount of generalization that goes on with white people is phenomenal in the black community. But if you put the same generalization on black people, now you're racist. Racism is racism. People love to say love is love. Racism is racism. It does not matter what race you are. If you're black and you say something racist to a white person, that's racist. If you make an assumption about a white person in a negative aspect, it's racist.
All right, where am I?
Don't scare me like that, colonizer.
What? What the fuck?
Controversial part, getting canceled. People have a right to be racist as long as they don't kill or assault anybody. If we're gonna argue that racism is the worst thing ever, then it should be held accountable on every side. This whole black versus white, which is not even how the world works, there's so many more races. I would know because I am friends with people, various cultures and races. I just happen to not really be friends with black people because it's difficult to do that, because a lot of black people are raised to be brainwashed to believe that white people, at the end of the day, no matter how many friends you have of them, they're the bad guy.
Duh.
They are the real racists. And it's not true. Every individual has the choice to be racist or not. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. But if you have a preference to be in a relationship with a black person or a white person or a Spanish person or anything like that, that doesn't make you racist either.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Everybody has preferences. But what I don't understand is because my preferences are so severely tied to the emotional nerve that black and white people, but specifically black people, keep picking open, I'm the bad guy. The stupidity is so obvious, but when it's covered in emotional manipulation and emotional traumas and things like that, then, you know, it all gets jacked up. And it's hilarious because, to get fully real for a second here, I was assaulted by a white friend. But am I gonna go and blame all white men for being assaulters? No. That's stupid.
That sounds like a choice.
Do I still have a preference for white guys? Yes. Am I brainwashed? No, I'm not. But maybe if my parents weren't free thinkers and grew me up in suburbia and stuff like that, maybe I would be a brainwashed black person. And I'd be brainwashed to think the pride and ego that goes with black people would still be there. And maybe I would want to date my black brother from Wakanda because for my people. But I'm not a part of that catastrophe cult. That's what it is a cult. I'm just gonna call it like it is. It's a cult.
Cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest.
I'm not a part of that cult. I'm a part of my belief in people and individuals.
My faith's in people, I guess. Individuals. And I'm happy to say that for the most part, they haven't let me down.
I'm not going to be allegiant to anyone just because of the color of their skin. If anything, that's racism. I'm choosing to be tribalistic and choosing to stay within my own race instead of venturing out to maybe learn and grow and love, all because of my pride or my race. That's real racism. That's tribalism. I know I'll still get backlash for this. I think at this point my sanity is so far gone that I just don't care. When I look at couples like Gwen and Arthur and Pocahontas and John Smith, Annie and Philip, especially that line that they sing in Rewrite the Stars.
And I'm not the one you were meant to find.
That really hits a chord with me because that's how I've felt a lot of my life with my black relatives, is the idea that I'm not meant to be with a white guy, maybe a black guy, maybe even a Spanish guy, Indian, hey, why not? Asian, questionable. White,
Not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen.
and I just don't understand it. I really don't. If love is supposed to be what I believe it's supposed to be, then I think being in an interracial relationship is the highest form of showing that in a romantic sense. That's not to say that if you're a white person who has a preference for white people that you're racist or you don't love the person you're with. You do. That's beautiful. You're not racist. Just in my personal preference, I have a preference for light skin and white guys. But that doesn't make me racist. But according to black people, it does. Because white people are the bad guys and black people are the good guys.
So that was a fucking lie.
And that type of mentality is going to continue to stop the black community from growing as much as it could. And I honestly just feel bad, but I don't feel bad enough to not be pissed off when I hear relatives that I actually do care about or I look up to or whatever say, whisper behind my back or in front of me that I'm brainwashed or I'm not really black, whatever the hell that means. I don't even want to be black. I just want to be me and I want love and I have sexual preferences. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down below. This will be hilarious because this is basically how my videos will be from now on. I'll be talking about controversial things, probably mostly racial stuff, some mental health, some feminist stuff, whatever. From my perspective, do I care at this point whether people like my videos or not? Probably secretly yes, but at the same time no. So it's whatever. Like, subscribe, comment, share with someone who you want to convince to not be racist. Good luck with that, especially if they're black, but whatever. Yeah, till next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Let me do that again. Anyway, I see, oh my gosh. I need my liquid beverage. Yes. Oh yes, tea. Oh yeah, and I drink tea, so I guess I'm British now, which also makes me white. Shit.
They're not much, I know. I picked them by the side of a road.
Thank you, Si, but I don't know what they're for.
Let us say I'm sorry, Guinevere.
You don't need to apologize. I understand why things have to be the way they are.
A good king should respect the traditions of the past, as my father did.
I know that.
But a good king should also be true to himself, and do as he sees fit, and be seen with those who he cares for.
Even if they're not appropriate.
Does that answer your question?
It's a start.